Great news. Dirty Keto is now on Amazon. If you're living in the U.S., go straight to Amazon and get Dirty Keto. Watch it, rate it, and review it. If you're outside of the U.S., meaning Western Europe or Canada or Mexico, it's not there yet. Don't ask me why. Listen, those people made me put a PG-13 rating on it when there was nothing in it that would have caused that. But let's get ahead of this thing. Let's watch it, rate it, and review it. Go get Dirty Keto right now, and on with the show.
Thanks for listening to Vinny Tortorich on NSNG Lifestyle Audio. Welcome to the Fitness Confidential Podcast with Vinny Tortorich, founder of NSNG, and co-host Gina Grad. Brought to you by PureVitaminClub.com, the world's purest vitamins.
I am Vinny Tortorich, folks. Your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft or succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed. That's right. It's the Wednesday show, and we have Miss Teresa Strasser.
I've been run down. I've been lied to. And I don't know why I let that mean woman make me a fool. She took all my money, wrecked my new car. Now she's with one of my good time buddies. They're drinking in some crosstown bar. Sometimes I feel, sometimes I feel like I've been
Yeah, tied to a whipping post. The Allman Brothers. Back when Dwayne was still alive. Hey, it's the Wednesday show, and everything reminds me of the song. And I was talking off the mic to Miss Teresa Strasser, and we started talking about addictions. You know, we were talking about it in the last show, and we couldn't let go of the addiction thing. And somehow that song reminded me of how we can be tied to a whipping post, how we can't let go of certain things. Folks, she's back again for another Wednesday show. I'm talking about the beautiful Miss Teresa Strasser. Yeah.
Thank you for having me back. It's good to be here.
It's good to have you. You know, we started talking off the, we got in between shows here and we were talking and I kept going, that was a movie. And you looked it up. It was Thanks for Sharing in 2012. A movie called Thanks for Sharing. Mark Ruffalo.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yep.
Exploring sex addiction. Because we were talking about the semaglutides, food addiction. Like it's really started a conversation in our culture about why exactly are people fat, because they're certainly not lazy. I mean, that is just not what I feel like we used to all think that. But we've all felt the pull of right? Like you get in bed and you're like, I'm done eating. I'm not going to eat. I'm done. And then You're like, maybe I'll watch Dirty Keto on Amazon. All right, maybe I'll just I'll have a couple cookies. And then you're eating the whole sleeve. You don't want to do that, but something is compelling you.
Well, that thing that compels you is, do you know how hormones work, Teresa?
Not really.
Okay.
Definitely no. Not an endocrinologist.
Okay, I'm going to give you a cartoon version of it. Kind of like Schoolhouse Rock. Remember that? Or are you too young to know that?
Conjunction Junction, what's your function?
Yeah.
I'm just a Bill sitting here on Capitol Hill.
That's right.
I feel like Interplanet Janet was a thing.
I'm going to let you in a little secret. When I got to LA in 1991, I was taking meetings with a very young company called Nickelodeon, and I was taking meetings with Disney. And I wanted to bring the interstitials back on Saturday morning. like talking about cheese and how good it is for you and everything. But I wanted to do a new version of it, and they were all into it. That's why I moved from New Orleans to California.
Really? To do interstitials?
I wanted to bring the interstitials back. And Hollywood was like, because nobody was into health and fitness back then. I saw this childhood obesity epidemic coming down the pike, and that was my big thing. I loaded up my 4Runner, sold everything I had, and just whatever fit into my 4Runner, and drove straight for 27 hours. I did not stop because I felt like if I stopped anywhere in Arizona and woke up the next morning and thought about it, I would have headed east again. I would have gone back to New Orleans. Right. I drove straight until I got there. And my deal was I wanted to bring the interstitial back. And they were all willing to listen until I said, well, look, we got to get Coca-Cola, these fruit roll-ups. We got to get this out of these kids' hands. And they would just laugh me out of the office. Right. So I'm going to explain to you, Teresa, how hormones work and how they conspire to make you fat. Everyone wants to think we get fat based on eating too much. And, it's just you can't control yourself. Of course you can't control yourself. It's not you. It's not you, it's me, is what I want to say. Let's say you went out and bought a bag of chips. What kind of chips do you like, Teresa? If you brought them home, what would you bring home?
Listen, I'm never going to be mad at Cheetos.
Okay. So you go to the store. You're a frugal woman. You see if you buy the individual bag of Cheetos, they cost a certain amount, but they got the family bag.
Right.
Now, the family bag is it's going to be a lot cheaper. Right? So you go, you know what? I'm going to be frugal and bring home this family bag. And I'm just going to pull a few out every day, and I'm going to roll it over and put the little clip on it, and that's going to be it.
The chip clip.
Yeah, everyone's got a chip clip. Hell, we don't buy chips, and I have chip clips. So you come home with your bag. Now, you go to the bag and you eat a few. You might even put them in a bowl or something, take them to the couch with you, and you eat a few, right? But then you go, you know what? I just didn't put enough in this bowl. So you go back and you get yourself a few more. And you roll it back up, you put the clip on it, you put it in the pantry, and you eat those. Now this time you're not being as demure. Instead of putting one in your mouth at a time, you're putting two in your mouth at a time. You can't get enough of it. Before you know it, you go, fuck it. I'm not going to keep walking to the pantry. I'm about to wear my tennis shoes out. You just bring the bag with you to the couch. And you're eating them one after the other. And then you start making deals with yourself. I can't stop eating these. I'm going to start my diet tomorrow. Right? There was a comedian that used to do a joke about drinking. And at some point he goes, we're going to Florida. Who did that routine? Where you just keep making deals with drinking. Right? I'm going to go. And then before you know it, you're driving to Florida.
It's all in the big book where you're like, oh, you know what? If I have this with milk, it doesn't count.
Right. Right. You just keep making deals, right? And before you know it, that bag of Cheetos, you've eaten the whole thing. And then you open up the Mylar package and you start licking the inside out. We've all done it.
You got to get the rest of the Cheeto dust.
Yeah. You're crazy if you don't. I mean, you already have it all over your fingers and the whole deal.
It's over. You've already eaten the family-size bag. Like,
right.
Your dignity is gone.
Right.
You're already going to feel terrible. Why leave the dust?
You got to get it all. Now, let's say you went out to a steak restaurant. Now, I realize, Teresa, you don't eat steak. But if you did, I'm talking to everyone else who does. Let's say you go to you go to Ruth Chris. You go to Ruth Chris, you get yourself a 12-ounce New York strip. And when you take your last bite of that New York strip, they bring you out another sizzling New York strip. You're going to tell them, bag it up. bag it up. I got to take it home. I'm stuffed. I can't eat another bite. Okay? Why is it with a 12-ounce steak, you can't eat another bite, you bag up the other one to take home, you're sated, you feel good, yet when you eat the Cheetos, if there was a pint of ice cream in your fridge, you'll start eating that. Because once you go down that highway, you're going to keep going down that highway. By the way, a family bag of Cheetos has 17 ounces. That's a clear 5 ounces more of product than you get from a 12-ounce steak. So why are you completely sated on one and on the other one you're still hungry? The reason is hormones. Okay? You have several hormones when you eat anything that actually start working and conspiring against you. One of them is cortisol. Right? That's why when you eat junk, you ever go out with the girls on a Friday? I'm going to walk away from my hormones for a second. You go out with the girls on a Friday before you were married. It's, you go to Mexicali over there in the valley. They got.
Oh yeah. I used to go there with Lynette Carolla.
They got margaritas. You ever have the margatini?
Yeah. The skinny margarita.
No, not the skinny margarita, the margatini. They had a margatini.
No.
Oh yeah. They put in a martini glass. And they had all these drinks. I used to go there because there was nothing but women there with the margatinis. Right?
You got to have your margatini.
No, I didn't have a margatini. I was just looking to get a date. So at any rate, you go there, you're in your skinny jeans, you're feeling good, you're wearing your nice jeans. You drink one drink, and then all of a sudden you feel your fuck me pumps are getting tight, and you feel like you're getting muffin top. How did that happen with one drink? You ever have that happen? You go out and drink with the girls, and at first you feel good because you fit into your skinny jeans, and now you feel
you feel a little bit puffy.
Mm-hmm. That's why
I would think the margatini is filled with sodium.
Sodium had nothing to do with it. Sugar.
So the alcohol is puffing me up?
The sugar. You see, we keep blaming salt for what sugar did, right? So what happens?
Oh, yeah.
What happens in that case?
You know what? You should do a documentary that's like a true crime where someone's exonerated, because I feel like salt has been doing time for like 30 years, rotting away in a prison for a crime that salt didn't commit when the real culprit all along has been sugar.
Salt has been in the shit house for 70 years, since the early 1950s.
You got to get like Kim Kardashian on this.
Okay, yeah.
She can free innocent prisoners now.
I'll blow a call into Kim after this. So here's the deal. You're out there with Lynette, you're having your margarita, and all of a sudden you're going, why are my pumps getting tight? Why do I feel like a muffin top? I was feeling good when I left the house. Boom. It's because your body, from cortisol, a hormone, instant inflammation, and your body starts to swell up. But wait, there's more. Your body also releases insulin, right? When you eat those Doritos, what were you eating? Corn chips. Cheetos. When you eat those Cheetos, your body starts to, cortisol gets released. You also have insulin that has to go and cover those carbohydrates. It will push some of that sugar into your blood, but your blood is already topped off. So it's going to turn the rest of that sugar into a long-chain triglyceride, also known as a fat, and push it into your fat cells instantly. But wait, there's more. Your body also releases ghrelin and leptin. Now, ghrelin is the hormone that's supposed to make you feel hunger pangs, right? Leptin is the hormone that's supposed to make you feel full.
Right.
Okay? So it's okay if this stuff gets released, but if it gets released over and over and over, if you keep eating this junk food day in and day out, you become resistant to cortisol. You become resistant to insulin. Insulin resistant is the number one trigger in type 2 diabetes. You also become resistant to leptin and ghrelin. Now, why is this all a problem? It's a problem because once you become resistant to something, you need to do more of it to get the same feeling, right? You're Jewish. What do Jewish people do on Christmas Day?
We go to the movies and have Chinese food.
Okay. What's the old joke about Chinese food?
An hour later, you're hungry for more.
What do you need after you eat a Chinese meal? You need another Chinese meal. Within an hour. Now, let me tell you a little secret there, Teresa. It takes our bodies 3+ hours to empty its content. Yet your brain sends a signal to your stomach that you're hungry while your stomach still is full of food. It's still it's still got the mugu gai pan. It still has the spicy, sweet, sour shrimp. It's got
Compel chicken.
And the rice, the shrimp fried rice. It's all still in your stomach, and your brain is going, feed me again. Feed me again.
Right, because of the resistance to the leptin telling you that you're full.
Right. Because let's say you never drank, okay? Let's say that you're a teetotaler, you drink twice a year, holidays. You have one drink, and you feel tipsy, right? You get drunk on one drink. You're a lightweight.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But if you had 2 drinks every night, you become resistant to the drinks. Now you need to have 3 or 4 drinks to get the same feeling that someone else will get from one drink. You get that same resistance to leptin, ghrelin, cortisol, and insulin. You see how that works? Am I explaining it the way you can understand it?
I'm so glad you brought all this up, because actually, since I'm doing what Gina Grad usually does, I have a news story, and I think it dovetails nicely with this. It's about chocolate.
Okay. I like chocolate. What's wrong with chocolate?
I was going to ask where you stand.
I love chocolate. Chocolate, people will say they have a chocolate addiction, but right. I'll say if you have a true chocolate addiction, you can eat 100% pure cocoa. And most people will say, I can't do that. And I'll say, well, you're not addicted to chocolate, you're addicted to sugar.
Yes, because when you think of a Hershey bar, it's right. It's the sugar and the milk fat. But if chemicals. You're truly eating dark chocolate, and there's been all these reports in the news, it's good for you. It's got flavonoids and antioxidants. Well, you and I have been around long enough for things to be good, then bad, then good, then bad, then good, then bad. Red wine was bad. It was good. It was bad. Well, this is a bad day for dark chocolate.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I
feel so bad that I have to break this to you.
Yeah, what did dark chocolate do now?
Here's what it did. Okay, CNN reporting dark chocolate and similar cocoa products. This, according to research published actually this week in the journal Frontiers in Nutrition. Dark chocolate and similar cocoa products are contaminated with lead and cadmium. These are 2 neurotoxic metals linked to cancer, chronic disease, reproductive and developmental issues, especially in children. This new study is finding that the levels are much higher than previously thought. So we all knew that dark chocolate was rich in flavonoids, antioxidants, beneficial minerals, and it's been linked to improved cardiovascular health, cognitive performance, and less chronic inflammation. Well, now it would appear that they are finding very high levels. Now, as you know, lead, cadmium, these are elements in the Earth's crust, right? So they're in the soil in which crops are grown, so they sort of can't be avoided. But some crop fields and regions contain more toxic levels than others, and they've tested a bunch of different chocolate, and it would appear that these amounts are dangerously high in the foods they tested. I was interested to find that some of the other foods that test high, these I would not have guessed these. Baby food sweet potatoes, baby food teething biscuits, sandwich cookies, white wine, and ranch dressing now top the FDA's list of foods most contaminated with lead, while sunflower seeds, spinach, potato chips, leaf lettuce, and French fries contain the highest levels of cadmium. So maybe regular healthy people can absorb a certain amount, but young children, pregnant women, people who eat a lot of chocolate or who eat especially dark chocolate regularly might want to consider this and take it into account.
Look, the bottom line is people always ask me, well, what are we supposed to eat? Everything seems to be bad for us. It all comes down, and again, I'm boring, but I don't care. I'm not here to make friends. I don't care if you listen to me. I don't care if you don't listen to me. You can never listen to this podcast again. I'm never going to stop spouting the truth. You want to eat one-ingredient foods. People ask me about that all the time. Well, what's a one-ingredient food? Broccoli. There's nothing in it but broccoli. Cauliflower. That's a one-ingredient food. Steak. One ingredient. Fish. One ingredient. Eggs. One ingredient. If you just eat whole, fresh foods. People always ask me, why do I hate vegans? And I always say, I don't hate vegans. Some of my best friends are vegan. I feel like Teresa and I are friends, and she's vegan. Are you vegan or vegetarian?
I'm not really. I'm like 80%, and then every now and again I have some salmon.
You should have salmon more often.
Those are Jewish soul food. I'm going to have a bagel with cream cheese and lox a couple times a year.
So, when people ask me about vegans, I don't have anything against vegans. I just don't like these vegan doctors who are lying to people. By the way, one of your overlords died recently, Dr. McDougall. Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh. Dr. McDougall passed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was, what did he have, a clinic for people with heart issues? That guy just out and out lied and told people, if you want to lower your blood sugar, eat rice and sugar. He literally said, I can show you videos where he's saying this. And some of the other vegans like Clapper and some of these guys are sitting next to him, and they're just looking down and looking away going, we can't believe this guy's actually saying this in public. Vinny, I feel like rice has been on the same journey as chocolate. I feel like everybody wanted you to eat rice, and then they said rice has arsenic, and then they said rice is bad, eat brown rice. Brown rice is no better than any other. Rice is rice. It doesn't matter what color it is. Your liver is a meritocracy. It looks at rice like it looks like any other carbohydrate. But that's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about good, clean, one-ingredient foods. Now, I guess rice is a one-ingredient food, but it's nothing but a starch. There's nothing in rice that's going to help you do anything except make quick energy. And unless you're running all day long, literally running all day long, you're not going to burn off that rice, right? And you're actually causing inflammation in your system. So, how about a baked potato? Okay. On the glycemic scale, a 0 means 0 sugar. A bowl of sugar is 100. A baked potato is one of the few foods that come in at 105. It's more sugar than sugar. Wait a second. Yeah. I'm shook right now. How about a yellow or a purple potato? Same thing. Ask me about more potatoes. Let's see. You got a fingerling. You got the yam. Stop. Yam. Ube. A yam is somewhere near 60% on a glycemic scale, so it's a lot better. Between 60 and 70%. That's so much better. What about the purple potatoes, ube? They're popular in the Philippines, and I feel like they're one of the blue zone foods. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Have you ever tried those? No, I don't eat potatoes. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to eat a potato. Well, I got dumb written on me. What is it? Is there a fucking sticker on me that says I'm stupid? Potatoes are not good for your health. A yam is down at about 60, 65, 70 on a glycemic scale, which is much lower, but that's like saying smoke a cigarette with a filter, right? I get your point. I wasn't a potato person, but both my kids are trying to gain weight for sports, and so I'm like, let me make you a breakfast burrito, and I'll put some potatoes in it. Are they sumo wrestlers? No, they're baseball players. Okay, so you want lean body mass. They both want to build. One of mine, I have a sixth grader that's 75 pounds. Okay, let me explain something to you. You cannot
pump fat. You can only pump muscles. You want lean body mass. If you want great athletes, you want lean body mass. Okay? That means you want to load them with red meat, fish, and chicken. Do not fall asleep on chicken. Chicken is a great source of protein.
Oh, chicken all day, but you burn out on it.
Okay, you ever hear of bacon? How Jewish are you?
I've heard of it. Heard of it.
Do you eat bacon? Do you cook it?
Yeah. I put bacon in their breakfast burrito.
Okay, bacon.
Bacon.
Eggs. Yeah. Look, you want good
Bacon,
athletes. Back in my day, and I don't promote this anymore because you could get salmonella, and now you could get the avian flu from
you're
eggs.
You're talking the Rocky shake with the raw egg?
Yeah, but I didn't. What I would do is I would crack, because I would eat 12 of them at a time. I would just crack them into a blender, and actually I would crack them into a bowl so I can find the little shell pieces to pull out.
Yep.
So I would crack 12 into a bowl, pour it into the blender, and just put a little milk in there and froth it up. And to make it taste good, I would add a little vanilla. Just put a little vanilla in there. And back in the day, I would add a scoop of sugar. Now, more recently, I don't do the sugar anymore. And I'm not suggesting you give your kid raw eggs, because you could get avian flu, you could get salmonella. They've basically cooked salmonella out of chicken eggs.
Or, Vinny, I could catch the eye of the tiger, like what happened to Rocky.
Yeah. You got to have the eye. You see those guys there, Rocky? They got the eye.
Get the eye.
You got to get the eye. It was Rocky 3.
I can't believe you were drinking the Rocky shake with sugar and oh my goodness.
When I was playing, look, by the time I got to college, I weighed 2.25, and my waist was the same size as it is right now, 30 inches, 31 inches. Never took a steroid in my life. You can do it. If you lift heavy things and eat a lot of protein and fat, your kids will have lean body mass, period. It's not a guess. You don't want to put fat on these kids. By giving them potatoes, you get fat. That's what sumo wrestlers do. They overeat carbohydrates. Not good.
All right. There's only so many. Where do you stand on protein powder? Do you hate it?
Near the left. All right, here's the deal with protein powder. I'm not a huge fan, but if you're going to give it to them, you want it to be just pure whey protein. Okay, you don't want chocolate flavor, vanilla flavor, any of this. You just want it to be protein powder.
Oh, because that's all sugar.
The rest of it, any of the other stuff. If you want brands, Vitacost, you could buy a big 5-gallon drum of it from Vitacost. All of these brands use the same product, so don't think one's better than the other. You want whey protein because your body assimilates it a lot better than any of the other ones.
Like a pea protein?
Pea protein is not even you would have to have 3 times the amount of pea protein to get all of the amino acids. You see, the thing you're trying to get from these bastardized proteins is you want to get all of the branch chain amino acids, the BCAAs, and the EAAs, the essential amino acids. And you could get that from taking a whey protein. You'll get them in the correct combination. You don't have to go buy BCAAs by themselves. You could get it in the whey protein. It's the best way to do it. So I'm not completely against it for young athletes who are trying to put on some lean muscle mass. If you want it to work, you got to give it to them every day, along with a high-protein diet. Okay? This is how it works.
I got another question for you along with this.
Okay,
and
go on.
We have never talked about this, and I have no idea where you stand, and I know we have to wrap, but my 14-year-old started taking creatine.
Taking creatine in small doses will help. Now, what happens is people will say, well, if a little is good, a lot is better.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot is not better. So if he's taking 500 grams a day, which is about a teaspoon's worth, they probably give you a little scooper in the thing.
Yeah, it comes with the scoop.
Okay. One a day, right? Now, How long has he been taking it?
It's been about 4 weeks.
Okay, because there's a loading period where you can double it up for 2 or 3 weeks. But if he's been taking it for 4 weeks, he's already loaded. Like you get to a load level. Here's why you don't want to go over that little scoop per day. Number one, it can start causing actual bloat. It turns out that taking extra creatine for athletes, will actually have them hold more water in their muscle to keep them more hydrated, right? So it's good for athletes to have some of this stuff. The reason you don't want to take more than 500 milligrams is because your body will downregulate its own production of creatine. We make creatine. Creatine is a non-essential. Do you understand what non-essential means?
It's how I think of myself in most of my employment situations.
But let's say,
here, but we don't really need her.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what it works like in the body. It's kind of like the Teresa Strasser of broadcasting.
Like, it's nice, but we don't need her to exist.
No, I think we want you to exist. But we just don't need you.
The show goes on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's nice, but we don't, in other words, you don't need it to survive. But creatine we do, right? Because we all produce it and we need it to live.
You're like chocolate sauce. Okay?
I have too much lead.
Ice cream is good. You get some chocolate sauce is better, but you don't really need it.
Don't need it. No.
Ice cream stands on its own. Okay.
Right. Extraneous.
Okay. So, there are 12 essential vitamins and some essential minerals. What it means is if we don't take it into our diet, we can die, right? So essential vitamins you need to get into your diet every day, right? Non-essential vitamins and minerals are if you don't take it, your body will make it. So creatine is a non-essential amino acid, meaning if you don't take it, your body will make it. So if you take too much, your body will downregulate its own amount that it will make. But studies have shown that if you take 500 milligrams, you won't kick your body out of making what it needs, right?
So it's very specific with the dosing and also the timing with creatine, right? So you're supposed to take it within 60 to 90 minutes of working your muscles out.
That's bro science. He could take it in the morning or he could take it at night. Doesn't matter.
You're making me feel better because I'm finding it very hard to fit this in between practices.
It's bro effing science. Okay? Now, the other place he's getting creatine is red meat. It comes in animal protein and in eggs. That's why eggs and red meat are so essential, because you're getting the creatine along with a lot of good phytonutrients that will build muscle. Nothing will build muscle like red meat and eggs. Nothing.
All right. Okay?
But taking some creatine is fine. Now, I'm going to give you a little pro tip.
Please.
Not all creatine is the same. There's one company I want to say is out of Japan, and they make a product called CreaPure. CreaPure is the most bioavailable creatine in the world.
I'm writing it down.
Now, CreaPure does not, hang on, CreaPure does not sell it by themselves. It's just a company that makes it. I'm going to give you the name of a company that uses CreaPure and only uses CreaPure, and I do not have any connection to this company whatsoever. I don't make a dime. It's called German Creatine. There's a green packaging. You probably get it on Amazon. I've recommended it. It's called German Creatine, and it's a green package. I've recommended it to people with cancer. Well, it's made in
Japan, so are they just representing all the access powers?
The way it works is CreaPure only makes the raw product, and then people that make, I own a vitamin company, right? There's only one vitamin E that you should ever use, and that's tocotrienol, not tocopherols, which is the normal one everyone gets. There's one company in the United States that makes tocotrienol, is Delta Labs. And every company that makes a tocotrienol uses Delta Labs products, right? I know this because I own a vitamin company. Creapure is the Japanese company that makes the best creatine in the world, but they don't sell it. A company that uses it is German creatine. And go find German creatine and you'll see Creapure on their label. Creapure. That's the most bioavailable creatine, and take 1 scoop a day. If 2 scoops worked, I would tell you to take 2 scoops. You're not doing yourself any favor by taking any more.
Well, there's some new research that creatine can be beneficial for women in terms of cognitive function as they're aging. I always thought creatine was just for bodybuilders.
No. Back in the day, they thought it was a replacement for steroids. It's never done what steroids. Nothing will beat steroids, which, by the way, folks, never take a steroid. But creatine, as I just said, helps with hydration. It's not just women. They find that it helps with anyone who's aging, right? I've thought about bringing the Creapure product into Pure Vitamin Club.
Could you?
Yeah, I can. I can go, and it'll cost me a couple of $200,000 or $300,000 to bring it in. And I'm trying to get all my other products back in stock. So once I get it back in stock, that's one of the things I'm looking at bringing on, because it's such a good product. I'm a fan of it. So, but that's probably a year away, because my commitment is to never be out of the stuff we sell. We only sell high-end stuff. That's why I can tell you the best stuff from around the world, because we only source the best products to make my products. That's why I know about Creapure and all these different brands. But go buy it from these guys, and they make a superior product. Anything else, if they're not using Creapure, in the words of Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last. That's the way I feel about Creapure.
I'm so glad that you invited me on your show today, because I actually learned a lot, and I think I was just buying whatever random brand was recommended to me, but now I know that this is the best kind, German.
And by the way, is the brand you're getting, does it mix easily with water, and does it have a flavor?
No flavor,
does
white
it,
powder.
Does it fall right to the bottom of the water? Because if it doesn't fall, okay, that's good. That's real creatine, but Creapure is even better than that. Trust me on this. I know by which I speak.
And you could take it anytime. You don't have to take it in and around your workout.
Bro science. There's exactly 0 studies to prove that. If there were, look, I've known about creatine since the 80s. I started messing with creatine in the 80s. I've been in strength training. Hell, a couple of my athletes made it to, MVP of Super Bowls. I know a little something about strength training. I will tell you what works and what doesn't work. Period. There's no bro science here. Ever. And if I don't know the answer, I don't make it up. Folks, the one thing I do know about is making it home. Go get that book, Making It Home. Get it right now. It's on Vinny's book club. I'm going to tell Debbie to move it right to the top again. You want to go get the book, Making It Home by Teresa Strasser. Listen, the book it's not a foreword, but on the back cover, one Mr. Cal Ripken gave her a blurb on the back. I don't even have Cal Ripken on the back of my book. I'd like to know how she pulled that crap off.
I can't believe it. I wrote a heartfelt email. I Googled how to reach Cal Ripken Jr. Literally, that is what I did. I sat at my dining room table. I thought, what is the one name that I want on this book about family, redemption, baseball? I had worked with Kirk Gibson. Mm-hmm. I had worked with his Parkinson's Foundation. But he's had 2 of the most incredible moments in the history of baseball and is a legend. But when I asked around, other moms had not heard of him.
Really?
They were like, who's Kirk Gibson? No, a lot of people that are not baseball people, they have no idea who he is. When I tell them the story, the injured leg, the home run, they're like, that kind of sounds familiar. If I say the name Cal Ripken Jr., 100% of people associate him with, like the record, greatness, baseball. It's just a household name. So I emailed how to reach him. About 10 different emails came up. Like, he's actually written a lot of books, and he has a competing league to Little League. He actually runs a baseball league and a charitable foundations. So I wrote a letter, a long letter. Like, I spent probably 2 days on this letter, and about what the book meant to me and why I had written it. And maybe 2 days later, I got a reply from his publicist saying, I'm so sorry about your brother, and I think this book will resonate with Cal. Let me send it to him.
Wow.
A couple weeks later, I didn't think that was a victory enough for me. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, wow, Cal Ripken's publicist has responded to me. Like, I'm the luckiest girl ever. I can't believe this has happened for me. And then a couple weeks later, I opened my email, and all it said was from the publicist, and all it said, 2 words, how's this? And below it was a long blurb from Cal Ripken Jr., signed CRJ. And I'll never forget, because one of the lines was, this is a story about a team that becomes a family and a family that becomes a team.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I've still never met the man, but he's one of the most generous. Like, why would he do this for me, a stranger who he's never met, that's just a baseball mom living in Arizona? I still have no idea why he did it. Because
it's a great book, and it's look, I didn't expect I was going to like it. I'm going to think, oh, Jesus, we're really making it home? What are we doing here? It's a page turner. It really is. And I felt like I learned something about you, because you and I met. Basically, we met at a wedding, and I was like, oh, this chick is going to hate me. And we met at Gina Grad's wedding, and we stood in the parking lot having this conversation as if we had known each other our entire lives, right? And I was like, this is an interesting woman, but there's no way this book is going to be interesting. And I learned so much about you, and it was a page turner for me. And it deserves Cal Ripken Jr. writing you a blurb. Bottom line, right?
Thank you. Thank you. Well, one thing I love about sports is that they connect people, and you can have, as you know from playing football, you know how deeply you're connected to you. If you were in your hometown and you ran into, so what position did you play in high school? I should know this.
I was a linebacker, and on offense, they put me on the line because we did student body right and student body left. So we just had really fast guys on the line that would just, run. We didn't block on any given play. We just ran.
We ran. If you ran into those guys or your high school QB,
right,
you would have a bond with them that would be difficult to explain to anybody that wasn't in that. Right. If I'm in the airport in my Golden State Warriors hat and I meet another Golden State Warriors fan, we're friends.
Right.
There's something about the world of sports, whether you're on the team or you're a fan or you're a parent on the sidelines. It's a connection. It's a deep emotional connection that doesn't even need words.
There's about 15 or 20 of us that are on a text chain because all of our parents are dying now. And when a parent dies, we all, the text chain, hey, Paul's dad just died the other day. And we're all condolences. Kevin's mom died. Condolences. These are all athletes we play together. And when I go down to Louisiana, if I say I'm coming to town, it could be anywhere from 3 to maybe 18 of us that will get together. And if some of the girls hear about it, because I went to a small high school, there was only 96 in our graduating class, and we buried 5 along the way, which is unusual for such a small class. So we're very close. We're in our 60s now, and we get together, and it's like we've never missed a day. It's a crazy thing. We should talk about that sometime on the podcast, but not right now. Folks, go check out everything Teresa Strasser is doing. You know what to do with me. Rate and review the new movie. Go to Amazon. Do all the blah, 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 blah. We talked a lot about food today, so this song came to mind. On behalf of Teresa Strasser, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with Hunger Strike.
Cup's already overfilled. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Fitness Confidential. Get more information at VinnieTortorich.com. Remember to rate and review us on iTunes and follow Vinnie on Instagram and Twitter.